Doctor Who fans are giving up, and I guess what they're trying to do is try to sweep things under the rug. Oh, they're bringing back Susan, the original companion of the original William Hartnell Doctor. Wow, this is all tied in. It's amazing. And a lot of these modern soap opera bad writers, this is a lazy way of doing things, tying everything in. If you notice, that's kind of all Disney Star Wars has. What's Andor got? Well, it's all tied in. It's got Mon Mothma. You know, that's how they kind of do things to try to generate interest for characters that you really don't like and really don't care about. And they try to make it sort of a thing that you're going to have to watch this in order to really understand Doctor Who. And that's the only thing they have left. It's just nostalgia bait is really what it's called. And people are tuning out. It's really over. I've never seen this level of, I would say, apathy towards Doctor Who, and that's exactly what's being said right now. People are done with this, and they're just like, you know what? They want to just like step all over the legacy of it. They're not even content to just do their own thing. It feels like an insult to the audiences, and it is an insult to the audiences. If you look at this season of Doctor Who, all of the theme of it has been they're mad at the critics. They're mad at the fans who just don't appreciate the fact that they're making progress for their LGBTQIA plus inclusivity. And you're supposed to just accept it and eat it. You heard Millie Gibson say, you know, just shut up and watch it, you know, because she doesn't want to deal with that kind of criticism, even though they're objectively putting this kind of content into here, and it's destroying the show. Now, let's get into this, and let's get into the fan analysis, because it's pretty interesting watching the fan reaction to all this. You would expect some, like, squee, Susan, the Ronnie, yay! But there's nothing of that, because the people who actually watched Doctor Who to understand this at this point, who actually were the fans back in the 70s, back in the 60s, or at least liked that stuff, are not watching anymore. I actually watched all of William Hartnell's run over the last couple of years. I'd never seen it before, and so I was able to catch up on that, except for, of course, the lost episodes, and it was really good. It was such a different vibe with this. The grandfather, I love the character of Ian. Ian was such a nice masculine character, and they don't have that anymore. They don't have problem solvers anymore. They just have this like doctor who's gay and crying all the time, and you're supposed to, I guess, have sympathy for that. It's really, really sad. So let's get into this in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things Doctor Who and science fiction. I am a science fiction writer myself, and I think if you like my takes on writing and science fiction, you're really going to enjoy my characters and my worlds. This is Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. It's a space crusading epic. It is a lot of fun, and of course, it builds huge over a 3-book trilogy. It is available on ebook, print, and audio. If you want to support our channel and get into the science fiction over here, would love for you to do so. I'm writing a beautiful space exploration trilogy right now, which I'm going to add some time traveling to it to, of course, make my commentary on Doctor Who through my fiction. It's the most complicated story I've ever written because the time travel elements make it a little wibbly-wobbly, if you know what I'm saying. And so I am working on that right now. Sign up for my newsletter in the description below so you don't miss that. Grab this, support our channel. Really appreciate you guys being here. Okay, so yes, here it is, the Bombshell, the original companion, says this Mashable article. The Doctor's grandfather's in back. Here's what that means. It doesn't mean anything. I'll tell you here what it means. Actually, Disparu laid it out very, very well. Doctor Who is bringing back the old villains and companions, not because they value them, but to mix them with their new propaganda, make them inextricably linked forever canon. It's to taint and pervert them, and that's exactly what's being done here. The agenda is to blur the lines, to make it feel like it's in continuity, solidified, so that their mark is left forever, because they can't create anything themselves. Evil can never create. It can only corrupt. It is very insidious, and like I said, it's an insult to the fans' intelligences, because they think they throw a cameo of Susan in there real quick going, grandfather, that you go, the Doctor! But the thing is, like I said, everybody who actually watched Hartnell, who's like into it, who isn't just Googling who the hell this is on the internet real quick and trying to find these articles that are at the top of the Google search results, have already tuned out of the show. People are not watching this. This has no relation to the original Doctor Who, other than the fact that they call him the Doctor, and then he rides around in a TARDIS that looks like a police box, which is absurd. And that's it. That's it. They have the skin suit, they have the window dressing, but that's all they have left. They do not have the feel and the mark of this anymore. Now, we talked about the other day, of course, they are, I guess Russell T. Davies has written all the way through the next season and actually has the plotting for the season after that. I gotta say, this is Radio Times right here. Doctor Who to return to the BBC regardless of Disney involvement. I mean, the way they phrase this, to return to BBC, well, the BBC owns it, and so it's never leaving the BBC because they own it, and they still have the licensing and all the merch and all that. So it's not really leaving, but it is looking like there's going to be a hiatus, and they don't have plans yet. So Radio Times wrote this article to make it look like it's just coming back. It's going to keep going. Yeah, got one. Russell T Davies win, scrubs. But of course, they actually say at in this that the BBC refused to comment, so they don't have any extra information. They're reporting this like it's fact, like it's going to keep going forever, like there's going to be no hiatus or anything like that. I don't think that's going to happen. And if BBC's smart at this juncture, they will not take anything that Russell T Davies has planned, and they will scrap all of that, because Russell T Davies really has just made this show into a gay self-insert. And actually just wrecked everything in the process, because he's wanted to push this political agenda so hard that it's just really put a sour taste in the fans' mouths all the way around. Now, it's not working. Even the Vulture, this is like the mainstream news, right? This is the New Yorker. Doctor Who Face the Music. They talk about all this stuff like, look at this. It attempts to tackle ideas of racism, genocide, terrorism, resistance to oppression, revenge, justice, capitalism, colonialism, and propaganda. That's before we get to the long-awaited return and reveal of two major characters. But for an episode like this, it's taking many swings. The big moments are not that punchy. It's like an unsatisfyingly gentle massage. I appreciate where we found all these points of tension, but we're not pressing hard enough. So what's funny is the SJWs actually want more. They want them to go even harder into this level. And what they're missing about this is, yeah, they're throwing all this stuff in there. They're throwing it all against the wall. They're throwing the whole episode, as if you watch my review, which you should if you haven't, it's up on the channel from yesterday, is a big transgender propaganda situation, and a big LGBT propaganda more than anything, more than racism. For what they're talking about, and it's written by a trans activist, and that's all they have. They literally don't have any good character moments. There's no good dialogue moments. I mean, it is just somebody just angrily pounding at a keyboard about his own life, and then trying to like ascribe that into Doctor Who, and then throw like, oh yeah, let's do a Eurovision thing. Because by the way, everything Russell T Davies does in these last 2 seasons is, let's do Doctor Who, but this. So this is Eurovision Doctor Who. Last week's episode, the guy who wrote it, he was a playwright who's done a book called the Barbershop Chronicles. Literally took that, but then stuck it into Doctor Who. I mean, it's ridiculous. And last season they had a Bridgerton episode, they had a Black Mirror episode, which were 1-to-1 copies of it, but then thrown with Doctor Who in it. Actually, the first episode, the Goblin thing, with the whole Ruby Sunday setup, and she was taken as a baby and dropped off, and like then the goblins are after her because of some destiny. That's literally the plot of Harry Potter. Like, I mean, there's nothing to this. There is no depth here. It's all terrible. And this is what people are saying now. Star Whovian's one of my favorite accounts on X to follow for Doctor Who, by the way. He says, this is a plea to BBC. Please cancel Doctor Who. The ratings are at an all-time low. The quality of the stories are getting worse every year. The people in charge of the show have nothing but contempt for the fans. It's fundamentally a broken brand. It's time to end Doctor Who. It's a public call to actually end it for the first time. And you're seeing this just from like other accounts too that are just like so frustrated with this. And he says, just my opinion, I'm slowly accepting that Doctor Who peaked in the mid to late 70s. It isn't the show I fell in love with anymore, and that's fine. I know it got its fans. It's just not for me now. I'm happy that I got my Doctor, my favorite stories. That won't change. So the fans now are at a state, and if you look at this is just resignation. They're like, okay, they're getting to the point where it's like it's never coming back. It's never going to be back again. It's never going to have that feel again. It's never going to have that sense of wonder, sense of adventure, sense of masculinity again. The people who are in charge of this just can't do this. And this is what happens with these corporate brand properties all the time. The people who get in there are just second-rate fan fiction hacks. They really are. But they have a corporate license that says it's the real one, even though they're not the people, they're not even related to the people who created it originally. I mean, we're seeing this with the Tolkien brand now, too. It's like J.R.R. Tolkien had his thing. Christopher Tolkien was very, very meticulous in maintaining his father's legacy when he had control over it. Then that's gone, and we're distant from the actual Tolkien now when we get Rings of Power, right? And so all of this stuff is exactly the same like this. These corporate brands and the copyright system. I just did another video on the copyright system involving Warhammer 40K. Oh my gosh, that's another topic. But the copyright and trademark system allowing these corporations to own Superman, to own Star Wars, to own Doctor Who, Star Trek in perpetuity, when there's nobody even, like I said, related to any of the original creators even still remotely around at this point, is absurd. It's hurting science fiction all the way around because these corporations have marketing budgets that cloud out all other independent stuff out there. It needs to end. I mean, this type of thing, it was an experiment. I get why they did it. They wanted to try to protect artists and all that. But the thing is, like, do I have that protection? No, I don't have a bunch of lawyers who are going to go protect my stuff. And so it's like, this is not helping independent people with their own properties. It's only serving these mega corporations. Ironically, as they make an episode about how bad mega corporations are while working for the mega corporation. It's so crazy. But this is the end of it, and this is exactly the sentiment where I'm talking to most fans at this point. This is how they feel. They're out, and they're just like, I'm done. I've given up even like getting angry about it anymore because it's just too much at this point. They've pushed too far. They are not interested in making Doctor Who anymore, and that's just how it is. It's really, really sad, but it is. We got to end corporate brands. It's really what it comes down to. Get the new science fiction, guys. Get some non-branded science fiction. Focus on independence. Have some fun again. You're going to love this. You have good characters who actually solve problems. That is what science fiction's always been about, and that's what I'm trying to bring back. I'm bringing back the golden age, my friends. Grab this in the description below and support our channel. Really appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think about Doctor Who and my concepts of brand and copyright and all that. Am I too radical? I don't know. Leave a comment down below. We'll hear from you soon.